Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Body, Mind, Spirit Show. I'm Dr. Betsy Greenleaf, and I'm so excited that we're going to be starting off the new year with New Year's resolutions. And who better to have with us today is Dr. Kellyann Petrucci. Dr. Kellyann Petrucci is the goddess of the bone broth diet, and I can't wait to have her talk about that. But she's been seen, you may have seen her a lot on Dr. Oz and the Doctors, and she's had a PBS special and a number of books. I can't even keep track of the books, but I think my favorite are the bone broth diet and Dr. Kellyan's 10-day belly slim down and Dr. Kellyan's cleanse and reset. So I'd like to welcome with us today, Dr. Kellyann Petrucci.
Oh, hello, Dr. Betsy. It's so great to be here with you.
I'm so excited. So yeah, January, this is the time where everyone's setting their New Year's resolutions. And I think a lot of times it centers around diet. But I know until I met you and I'm being a doctor, I didn't really understand what I needed to know about diet. So tell us a little bit about your bone broth diet.
Sure. So, bone broth is actually not a lifestyle or not a diet. It's actually a lifestyle. And this is what I want everyone to know. And I think the most important thing that anyone can know, it can't be one-off. So a lot of times diets will take you through the first pattern of the diet, which is really trying to get you to change your relationship with food. So step one, let's change our relationship with food. So if you're doing something like you say, Dr. Kellyann, if you don't believe in diets, then why do you have a 10-day belly slim down? Why do you have a cleanse and reset? It's almost like the first pillar. And my whole objective there is let you fall in love with foods that'll work for you and not against you. And what I love so much about the bone broth and the bone broth diet is because it makes it really easy. There's no white knuckling. And whenever you get the kind of nutrition that you get in bone broth, I am listening. And, I was a Swiss trained doctor, and you and I have talked about this. I studied, through Dr. Rao at the Paracelsus Clinic. I've got some really interesting background modalities and such. So why do I spend so much of my time talking about bone broth? Because it's just that effective. I mean, if you want the path to transformation, or you really want to transport into transformation, bone broth is the best I've ever seen. And that's why I spend all my time talking about it.
I know you referred to bone broth as liquid gold, but why is it liquid gold? It seems so simple.
So, when things are an oversimplification, Betsy, people kind of dismiss it in a sense, because they think, well, it can't be that easy. Well, I'm here to tell you a lot of things that really work, that really shift or move the lever in your body, they happen to be natural and easy. There's so many different options. So here's why I love bone broth. Here's why I call it liquid gold. The first, right off the bat, anytime that you get anything with as much nutrition as bone broth offers with, get this, hardly any calories, right? And no carbs. Anytime you get something like that, it's usually always a win. So bone broth has amazing, so many. I mean, it's got the best form of protein. So you're getting great protein to start. Really good for the body. It's very upbuilding for the body. You're getting great fats. You need to have fat to burn fat. Everyone hear that. Good fat helps you burn fat. So you've got the protein, you've got the fats, you've got minerals, you've got amino acids, again, upbuilding. But here's where I really get excited. It's got something in there called gelatin. And gelatin is the jiggly stuff that we oftentimes see, like with Jell-O, or that stuff that sits at the top of soup sometimes. Well, you want that. You want the jiggled air and not on your backside. And getting the jiggled air will take the jiggle away from your backside. So that gelatin is it does so many different things, but let me explain it to you this way. This is probably the best way, Betsy. If you get a sunburn, what do? The first thing you reach for is aloe vera. You're saying, okay, I've got a sunburn. Let me throw on some aloe vera. That's healing and it's calming and soothing. So it does two things. It calms the problem. It takes you out of the pain, and it also heals. That's exactly what gelatin does to the gut. Gut health is everything. I'm sure you'll talk about a lot of this on your program. But now more than ever, we know that not only does it help us lose weight, having a healthy gut, studies are showing that now, but also we know that a large part of our immune system rests in the gut. And so now more than ever, we want to make sure that's okay. And what you want is healed and sealed. Healed and sealed. Your gut locked, tight, locked, strong. Well, bone broth just so happens to do that. So now you've got this wonderful that warms you from the head to your toes. Easy, can even be inexpensive. You can make it really inexpensively. You can buy really high quality virtually everywhere now. You can even buy powdered versions. That's one of my favorites for people. They can buy healthy powdered versions now. Why wouldn't you do it? Why wouldn't you?
It's so much easier now because I know when I did your diet the first time, I still like to make it. I was making big crock pots of,
yep.
My family thought I was weird because I went out and bought like chicken feet and because I was trying to get things to make the collagen. And so now, between your products, I can buy them straight from you. And then there's also now I can just go down to the supermarket and there's tons of different options with bone broth. When, like I said, years ago, you couldn't find it. You had to make it all your own. But
when I first came out with the bone broth diet, there literally was not a single company on the market. There was absolutely nothing. So the bone broth diet actually created and fueled an entire food category. And that's something I'm really proud of, not from an ego sense, but because I know that I brought something back to the table that's important to people, that's making a huge shift. So, again, why I love bone broth, it's got all of these great assets to it, but also just think, two major things that most people want, male or female, they want to keep their weight in check and they want to be healthy. So slimmer, younger, faster. Bone broth does that. And you can do that in a couple of different ways, a couple of different systems. Either you can have, as kind of a basic prescription, you can have 2 cups of bone broth a day. Or you can put it into a program like I did when I tested this out. And I thought, oh my gosh, everybody's skin's looking so much better. They're losing weight. And that is 2 non-consecutive days a week. Sip on bone broth during the day. It's kind of like a system of intermittent fasting in a sense. Now, all the intermittent fasting people will throw daggers at me. They'll say it's not technically fasting because you're having the bone broth. But I will tell you this. When we tested 3 different cities, and we tested an awful lot of people on bone broth, we found that they got the same results sipping on bone broth during the day than they did with no food at all. And what I like about the bone broth is all the nutrients it's bringing into the body and it's healing the gut. So it's a really wonderful tool to lose weight, to get beautiful skin, to not have to, you want foundational beauty. All of the shots and the lasers and all that stuff. I am not belittling any of that. A lot of people, A, can't afford it. B, they're not aware of everything that's available. And C, you have to understand that's kind of like the icing on the cake. You need foundational beauty. You need the basic layer that's healthy and well and has a demeanor and luster to it that gives you the glow and gives you, makes you feel beautiful. And another tier to this that I have to mention, because one of the things that we see as clinicians all of the time is we see people who go to bed at night, they wake up, they feel like they never even went to bed. So I call this the best energy drink because a lot of products out there are energy drinks. So they're health products in disguise because they're not anywhere near anything that I would ever want my family to ever, touch their lips. But now bone broth has something in it called glycine. And Betsy, this glycine is amazing. It's what I call the twofer because it helps you sleep at night. It gives you restful sleep. And it also helps to restore you so you feel energy during the day. So I love when I need a perk up or a pick me up, I always go to bone broth.
That's the other thing I wanted to bring up is, there's always been diets all over the place. But what I found, especially in your books, is you really explain that we need to be dealing with inflammation. And this is a problem I'm actually having with one of my patients right now. She's like, oh, just put me on weight loss medicine. Just put me on weight loss medicine. And I'm like, no, I need to deal with your inflammation because you're not going to lose any weight until we get rid of your inflammation. So why is that, Dr. Kellyann?
That's such a good statement that you told your patients. That is such a good, and I'd love to hear doctors, and I want everyone to know, like these are cutting edge doctors that make comments to their patients like this, and they're truly saving your life, because most modern day diseases that we see, cancer, heart disease, diabetes, obesity, the common underpinning is inflammation. So I want everyone to think about it. Like if you break a bone, inflammation sets in. Great. You get a sore throat, inflammation sets in. Great. That inflammation turns on and it turns off once the healing happens. But what's not good is when that fire, that inflammation goes on in the body and you can't shut it off. It's like a faucet that you can't turn off. This creates all kind of havoc in the body. So if you want to picture it in your mind, think about like a redness everywhere internally that we can't see. And I usually can tell, by the way, a C-reactive protein, a super simple blood draw will tell you where your inflammation is in the body. It's a good number to know. I always say vitamin D and your C-reactive protein and hemoglobin A1C, like those are the three markers I typically want to know on every patient, what your blood glucose is doing, where your vitamin D level is, because gosh darn it, everyone is so low. So vitamin D level, and then your C-reactive protein. And that's really not for me as the doctor. That is for you. So you can actually see the data yourself when you put yourself on the right path. When you put yourself on the right path and that inflammation starts going down, you feel so much better. Because for me as a doctor, I'm just going to assume that most people are going to come in with those three levels whacked, because most of the time they are. But when you regulate your body and you put yourself on something like the 21-day bone broth diet, there's a reason why I said 21 days. I said 21 days because it's 21 days for your intestinal cells to flip over, to turn over. And so think about it like this. When you give your body the right raw material, it starts to heal and our whole body regenerates all of the time. It's a constant process of regenerating. So as your cells begin to turn over and become fresh and new, guess what happens when you give it the right raw material? What happens at the end of that game is that you look younger. So true regeneration happens when you put the right raw material into your body. Your cells turn over with clean material. And that's what you want to do. And then people say, well, I don't want to live like that, or I can't. So one of the things I learned about when I started going on Dr. Oz very regularly, one of his most trusted experts, and here's what I've learned, they talk to a different kind of audience than a lot of times we talk to as just doctors, okay? And what I learned is what people really want, what they really desire. So they still want sweets and treats and other things. And here's what you need to know. When you get that inflammation low, when you get that inflammatory marker where you need it to be, you can still indulge and have fun. I call it your fairy dust. You can still have fairy dust in your life. And then the thing is when you change your relationship with food, you know how to reel it back in. And so that's why I love bone broth. It helps with all of these things. There's liquid bone broth. There's powdered bone broth. I sell both, but guess what? They're everywhere now and they're all good. There's so many good brands now. And, I have to say, that one of the things that I've noticed that when we interview people after they have started this type of lifestyle, that they actually get an attitude adjustment. So if you are feeling like you're a little kind of like you feel low, or you don't feel like you have that light inside of you that you used to have, you got to take action. You got to get that light back, because light is what makes the world go round. That's what we're all wanting to do. And, I have to say, when you have your health, you cannot help but to glow. So let's find easy, modern ways that we can get this done effectively, efficiently, without us having to go through white knuckling and pain. And there are easy things that you can do to create this slimmer, younger, faster, and to have this bountiful immune system. And bone broth is my true love for that.
This is amazing. And I think the work that you're doing is just great. And people really need to know all about this and the health benefits. So where can people find more information about you and your products and what you're doing in the world?
Thank you. So Dr. Kellyann, there's no E at the end, drkellyann.com. You will find everything. I have a plethora of information on bone broth, on healing, on looking younger. My products are there. I sell bone broth in all forms. I just came out with a new version, which is, we can't keep it in stock. Every time we put it on the market, in under an hour, it sells out. You'll love the taste. It's a powder broth that's absolutely delicious. And you'll see me on the news. I'm on television all the time, helping to really go out there. My mission is to transport people into transformation. That is what I'm put on this earth to do. And so I get up every day with that mission in my mind and heart, thinking about all the people that I see throughout the years, over 25 years of practice, seeing their pain points, and really just going out there and doing everything I can to make a difference.
And that's actually interesting, because at WYTV7, their mission is education, empowerment, and encouragement. So I love that, because it definitely matches up. So is there anything else that you'd like us to know, just in closing, about bone broth?
Mm-hmm. So what I want everyone to know is that, it seems like, oh gosh, this lady's out of her mind. She's going on like this, she's so, evangelic about bone broth. I only am because I know what it can do for you. And I know the struggles, particularly of women. I know the struggles. And so, we need more energy. We have problems with being tired all the time, and achy joints, and constant bloating, and all kind of digestive issues. And a lot of us have autoimmune issues, and, thyroid's out of whack, and, all of these problems, and particularly with weight. And, I can't get the weight off. And when I do take it off, it comes right back on. It solves so many of these issues and pulls so many of these levers that I just want people to experience it for themselves.
Thank you. I think that's so amazing. And you're so passionate about this. I love that. So thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today. I also just want to remind people that if they like the programming on WYTV7.org, you visit our website. We are looking for any kind of donations if you feel like you want to give to keep the programming going. And then you can follow me and Dr. Kellyann on social media. You can find us. And then if any of the audience has any questions, you can specifically write me at it's askbetsy@doctor.com. And that's doctor and dr.com. So thank you once again for being with us, Dr. Kellyann Petrucci.
My pleasure. You're doing good work out there, Dr. Greenleaf. Good work.
Thank you.
Swing Into Their Dreams Foundation presents the golf tournament of the year, raising scholarships for aspiring National Golf Club in Milton, Georgia. The inaugural HBCU Swing Into Their Dreams Charity Golf Tournament. Registration and gourmet continental breakfast begins at 8 a.m. and shotgun at 10 a.m. Award reception follows. Come enjoy a day of jazz, mimosa, cigars, cash bar, silent auction, and more. For more information, contact 770-686-7148. Don't miss it.